go. There we go. Let me know where we calling in from this afternoon, man. Another Sunday Outlook call. We got Ohio in the house. We got Vegas, UK, Florida, Sri Lanka. My man always tapped in from Colombo, Sri Lanka. What's up, everybody? What's up? What's up? What's that, Brooklyn, BX? Oh, Sri Lanka too? Wait, we got multiple people from Sri Lanka? That's dope. What's up, y'all? What's up? New Mexico, Louisville, Kentucky, Baytown, Texas. What's up, everybody? Kenya in the house. What's up? What's up? Listen, we literally got people from all over the world on this call today. Super blessed, super grateful to be on here with all of you guys this afternoon or this morning, this evening, wherever you are in the world, right? Whatever time it is there, I appreciate you for sharing this time with me this evening. With that being said, I'm your host, obviously. If this is your first time on the call, my name is Ray. Go by Wallstreet Ray. At least that's what the people call me. Been trading now full time for over 5 years. And we do these calls on Sunday just so that way we could be able to come on here, give you guys a bit of perspective on what it is that you can expect throughout the week, right? This is a weekly Outlook call. So we may or may not give official signals. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I don't. Understanding that the market did just open about an hour or two ago. We want to make sure we're not trading prematurely, but at the same time, we do want to take advantage of opportunities presented to us. So this is a call to just get you adequately prepared for the numerous opportunities that will be presented throughout the week, all right? So the best thing I would say to you guys is to make sure you pay attention and you're intentional with your listening, right? If I were you, I'd probably get a notebook just so that way when I do look at a pair that you like or a pair that you want to trade, you can actually jot down some notes on it. Is the market bullish? Is the market bearish? Okay, what price point did he say get in at? What price point should I set my stop loss, my take profit, right? Just be an active listener so that way you could actually get the most out of this call, especially if you're in the free Telegram, because this is your one call for the week. And I don't want you guys to miss out on some opportunities that others may have if they have me 6 times a week, right? So just be aware of that if you are calling in from the free community, all right? Again, appreciate all of you guys for tuning in with us this afternoon, right? So with that being said, I just like to start from the top, all right? Let's go ahead. Let's start from the top. Let's see what setups we have out there that we could potentially take advantage of, all right? So starting it off with AUD CAD, okay? And I will just point this out. If you guys want to give me a follow, these are my pages. Anything else is fake. I am just, pointing this out there in case there are some people that do get confused. Also recording for YouTube. So I want everybody to understand that, if there's fake pages messaging you, just be aware. If it's not coming from 1 or 3 of these pages, more than likely the first one up top, then it's not me. All right. But now let's go ahead and hop straight into it. Looking at AUD CAD, all right? Now, AUD CAD is a very interesting looking pair at the moment because one thing that I actually noticed right now is it's obvious the market has been trending downward for quite a while, all right? Market has been trending down for quite a while. Let's go ahead and clean this up a little bit. Move that out the way. There we go. All right. So the market has been trending down for quite a while. Now we're actually, playing into this area where there was some consolidation. There's areas of selling before buying. Overall, there is a lot of demand in this area. However, I am still leaning more towards us actually coming to take out this low on AUD CAD at around the 8598 price point. 8598 price point. So once the market actually comes and clear these lows, I will be interested to see if we can actually come back and return bullish again. All right. So just with that being said, if we just come out, we zoom out just a little bit here. Get rid of all of this. So another reason why I feel like we're gonna go lower is because obviously the high that we left up here has to target some area of liquidity because we see the market has been bearish for quite a while on the higher time frames. All right, I'll do this real quick just so we can see a little more clearly. There we go. So we have been bearish for quite a while. All right. The market made a high here, and now I'm anticipating us clear lows like market structure typically does. All right. Because just looking at this chart on the daily, or even if we want to go out to the weekly, I don't usually go out to the weekly that often, but it can be very useful in understanding where your major areas of reversal are going to come into play. It could be very pivotal in understanding when a market is actually going to stop going in a certain direction because, you could be on a 4 hour or 1 hour and the market just seems like it's going in one direction. So sometimes we can come back out to the weekly just to get a little more perspective, right? So right now I'm on the weekly, and one thing I notice is that we do have a sell to buy candle right here. And the sell to buy candle is just this black candle right here that forms right before we have this big bullish blue candle right here. So essentially the market sold, and then lots of buyers came into the market that very next week. So essentially, I feel like there's a lot of mitigation that can take place within this zone because obviously, if you guys understand how mitigation works, I did explain this on the last weekly outlook, but there's a lot of selling that takes place and buying at the same time because this is how large institutions and things of that such actually create price action, right? They don't just get into the markets the way that we do, but they actually have to pre-calculate how they're going to get into the markets by engineering liquidity and creating price patterns, all right? So understanding that there's an abundance of sell orders within this black candle, the market will push up, but ultimately it'll come back to that initial sell point to offload all of those sell orders that's built up in this candle, and then they'll be able to add on to the buy positions that they had within this candle. So this is something that's very important to understand because this is how you understand the footprints that the market leaves behind. Footprints is a term that I like to use in order to allow me to see the specific areas where institutional activity is taking place. Realizing that, we want to trade with momentum, we want to trade with the volatility. I personally have no desire to just be trading and consolidating markets all day. So when you hear the term trade with the banks, that just pretty much means we want to trade when the market is ready to make moves. All right. So with that being said, again, this market has been bearish for quite a while, even going out to the higher time frame. I mean, we could even go to the monthly and see bearishness, but the weekly will do. One thing that I noticed is, we did clear highs here, and now I do believe that we got to come take this low. Now, with that being said, I do feel like we have an ability to respect within this candle. And the thing is, we don't even necessarily have to, let me change the right here. We don't necessarily have to respect this low and make a new high. Like, I'm not saying that we have to do that, but I do believe that this area will cause a retracement, whether it's short, whether it's deep. The retracement is going to give us some opportunities to buy this week, right? Or, that's essentially all that it is I'm paying attention to, whether it's this week or even if we have a little more selling going in the next week. One thing I do believe is that we're going to actually clear this low right here, and we're going to get a reaction of some sort. Again, whether it goes and makes new highs or not, that's not my concern at this moment, because I believe that we can still take trades as higher time frame areas are still being developed. All right. So this is one thing that I see happening on AUD CAD. I see us getting a little more bearishness to clear out this suspect low right here. Once we clear out that suspect low, then this pattern will then have become a strong low. Okay, because now we'll have this low create this high, then we'll take it. and push back up. Now, this is something that I like to see because we need to see we make a low and then we take the low. All right. That's the pattern of a strong low. Strong lows look like this. Okay. It'll make a low right here. And then the second low will take that low out. So that's what I'm anticipating is happening right here. Right here, we made a low. And I believe that in due time, we'll come down here and take the low. And that will be our big W pattern right here that can send the market back up. All right. So that's essentially what I see right there. We still are on the daily. So now that we got that understood, we can go down to the lower time frames and see if we see anything that can allow us to take more shorts on this pair. All right. All right. So just with that being said, I'm looking at this high up here that pushed down ultimately to make this low. All right. Obviously, there's highs here as well. There's highs here. There's highs here. I see all of those also, right? But at the same time, the area with the most supply at the moment is probably going to be up here. All right. So I'm going to mark that one off first. Then, I'll go down a little bit to lower time frames and see if there's something else that I can mark up to be a little more precise. All right. But at this moment, I'm going to be looking at that 0.88 area on AUD CAD, 0.88 on AUD CAD, okay, 0.88, hint, hint. I will be looking at this area for us to potentially get into some shorts, all right? GCAD looks nice, cool. We'll take a look at it in a moment, all right? But if I'm just looking at this right here, we do have a minor sweep of liquidity in these highs, which is a good thing. The market was also creating trend line liquidity here, which we actually came and took also, all right? So we take liquidity in two different places, all right? So we take liquidity, then we actually start trending downward, all right? Here we have weak highs resting right there. So I feel like once we come take those out, we can make that move to the downside again, all right? Another thing that makes me feel confident about this setup is the fact that we do have relative equal lows right here. So we know that there's money underneath this area that we still need to go get. So between the fact that we have, these weak highs that are being left behind on the way down, I feel like this can be a great opportunity for the market to come clear this liquidity right here, and then ultimately push back down to come clear this liquidity right here. All right. But ultimately, we're going to respect this area of supply right there to give us that sell. Once we get back down here to like the 0.858, once we get back down to 0.858, all right, which will be about right here. This is where essentially I will start looking for more buy opportunities, all right, that will be in more alignment with the higher time frame. Okay. Because remember that zone we found on the weekly chart. Okay. So sell to buys on AUD CAD. I'm not sure if this will happen today. This will probably be a setup that needs a little more time. So possibly tomorrow night maybe. But this obviously ain't something that I'm gonna take today. The market still has some ways it needs to go. But so far I do like that setup. All right. Let's go on to AUD USD. So AUD USD, essentially I see the same thing. It just looks a little bit different. All right. So I'm looking at this point of interest right here. Reason being is because if I zoom in, I actually have a hezzy crossover right there. All right. So we have our area of supply, right? We interact with it, and then we actually cross over to the upside, which is a very key price pattern that we look for within Trade Genius Academy. All right. So now understanding that, our reaction indeed does sweep liquidity. On top of that, as it crosses over to the upside, we do have lots of bullishness. We have imbalance that causes the market to break these highs right here to make significant higher highs. So we have to assume that there is demand within this low. So I want the market to actually come back into this low before we start to buy. So what it is that I see happening here is there's a reason why these lows look suspect, right? Those lows don't look trustworthy because the market has one more sell down that it needs to do. All right. So maybe the market pushes up a little bit. Ultimately, I do feel like it's going to drop back down. And then once we get to 0.63, all right, about 0.63 area, I'll be looking for something like that. All right. Now, keep in mind, this will be my first jab at this opportunity. All right. I always trade in a way that allows me to take a loss or two, because understanding that trading is like a game. You don't want to be one and done, in a game. When you think about sports, for example, baseball, you get three strikes. You know, there's other sports where you get more than one opportunity. Like even in football, you get three opportunities before you have to punt the ball away, unless you go for it on fourth down, but that's being risky, right? So, essentially in trading, I try to have the same approach. So same approach to, either baseball, football, where you have like three chances to get it right. So, I use risk management accordingly, because let's just say, for example, this zone doesn't hold up, but overall, maybe this happens. Maybe the market goes a little bit lower and then it goes up. I don't want to put my whole account on this trade, because if this trade loses, then I can't actually take advantage of this one right here. So you got to be aware of that, right? Sometimes we take one loss and then we're out of the market. But as a trader, as a professional trader, you got to be able to realize at times where you can take more than one trade to take advantage of an opportunity. All right. So this will be just my first opportunity right here. One thing that I keep my mind open to is the possibility of this being trendline liquidity as well. Because if this does happen to be trendline liquidity, all right, the market is probably going to want to come and clear out 6169, or just to give you a more solid number, let's say 617. Okay. Give you a nice solid number because it's easier to remember. 0.617. If this happens to be trendline liquidity, which it can be, then I'm gonna probably look for 0.617. So my first jab will be here. If this doesn't hold up, I'll look to get in underneath 0.617. All right. All right, now we're moving on to AUD JPY. Truth be told, I don't really want to necessarily trade this at the moment because I do see a potential for sales, but I do see why it may want to just continue to buy. I'm kind of conflicted on the bias right here because we did sweep lows and now we're kind of impulsing to the upside. I could see this high being taken out, truth be told. Even though it may appear to be like a sweep of liquidity, I could still see this. I could see this market continuing bullish. All right. I don't want to necessarily trade that at the moment, but let's take a look at Euro USD. So we got AUD CAD, we got AUD USD so far. Let's move on to our Euro pairs. So far as Euro USD is concerned, obviously, I mean, from this time frame, the market still does look bearish, even if you did consider, all of this a sweep of liquidity, like let's say on a weekly chart, which I don't think it is, but even if you did consider that something like that, I think there's more bearishness that needs to take place. Even for this market to be bullish, I think it does have to go bearish a little bit more. All right. So you can be bullish on a market, but the market still has to, drop a little bit more for your bullishness to even take place. So one thing I see happening here is, we have been in this downtrend for quite a while. There is a possibility that this is just a large accumulation over time, right? Like, I mean, obviously this, it's funny to say it's an accumulation when it goes back to 2015, but at the same time, price patterns are price patterns, right? If this does happen to be an overall higher time frame accumulation, what still needs to happen is the market does need to probably push a little lower before it finds that higher low point that it wants to buy up from. All right. So with that being said, I do think that we could probably get maybe a little more bearishness, maybe for the next couple of weeks or so, out of Euro USD. The market has been melting. I took a couple of attempts at the buys. I actually didn't. I actually made profit off of them, but ultimately they came back towards my entry. So at this point, I'm not gonna like keep trying to catch the reversal. I do feel like it has more bearishness to go. We are clearing this low right here. So that does give us the possibility for, some retracements to start kicking in. But it's all about perspective, can you take advantage of these retracements? Absolutely. But I'm just giving you guys like a higher time frame perspective right now. I do feel like that low obviously is getting violated. This low can get violated. I feel like we can keep taking lows until we get like down here. Then once we get down here, then you'll be in this, sell to buy candle area right here where, the market hesitates off of this high, makes this low and then continues higher. So, and then you got this little area imbalance as well. The other thing to notice is that there's no real imbalances anywhere within this price action that can cause the market to react. There might be a little bit right there, but that's not much, right? So all of these lows, all of them, first off, they look pretty weak. And then on top of that, they don't have the imbalance or fair value gap to, cause a price rebalance in the first place. So this is the first area that has the area of imbalance that could possibly cause the market to have that rebalance where it comes into this area and then shoots the other way. So, that's just my long-term perspective. With us being underneath this low right here, technically speaking, you could take more of a risky approach. Excuse me. You could take more of like a risky approach and say, we did clear this low. So us taking that liquidity, there's a high chance that, we can get some bullishness. And that is true, but that would be the only confirmation you have. right? Like I don't like to necessarily trade off of single confirmations. You know, if the market decides to shift higher, you know, let's say the market shifts higher, it gives me a hezzy crossover, and then it retraces, you know, I feel like I'd probably be more likely to take the trade from there after I've had my confirmation, right? So this is what you call, you know, this is what I call a base entry, right? I have ace entries, then I have base entries, right? Like the base model of a car. It's like the generic entry is nothing spectacular about it because the ace entry is more of like an exotic type of entry where, you know, you clear out lows and then you predict the bottom, right? So you're trading with anticipation. There's no real confirmation yet because the market is just trending down. And then you take the buy right here, right? But obviously, if the market is making lower lows and lower highs, there's been nothing confirming that the market's going to go bullish, but you trade with anticipation that it goes up. And then, you know, it happens to go up. So that's what I call ace entries. Okay. And that's something else that I go over with the community or the course. But here's what I'm actually looking for right here. The fact that we lack a lot of confirmations overall, essentially, I'm going to look for the market to break structure to the upside and then come back because now we've actually confirmed our direction. The market shifting from here to here, and this high being higher than this high is what will at least give me some type of motivation to take that trade. And then my hesitation off of supply creates internal range liquidity that will fuel the next impulsive move. All right. So having all of those things is something that's important for me to take an entry. If I take an ace, it has to make sense. This one doesn't make as much sense unless I get that break of structure to the upside, followed by the retracement. So we either get this or we just continue dropping, right? That's pretty much the only options I see for that pair. All right. And I'm gonna go a little faster, guys, because I ain't gonna lie, I have a crazy migraine right now, but I definitely want to make sure I give y'all some value today. We got 40 on the call as well. Shout out to all of you guys. Definitely appreciate y'all for tapping in. So would you trade? So would your trade be valid if you don't break that high? Um, no, I'm looking for that high to get broken, bro. I'm looking for that high to get broken. On Euro USD, I'm looking for that high to get broken because we're not leaving the area of mitigation, right? So the fact that there's less confirmation, I need to see a break of that high. I need to see a break of structure. Typically, I wouldn't need all of that, right? Typically, I don't need to break structure because I'm on such a lower time frame. I'm like doing lower time frame surgery on a pair. But in this particular instant, I would like to see a shift to the upside because the only confirmation I have is us sweeping this low. If I had more confirmations, then I probably would just take the ace right here. But I'm not taking the ace because I don't have enough confirmations to take the ace. All right. Yes, we are playing within this low, but that don't really mean much to me. Like this low it doesn't look that aggressive in my opinion. All right. Now we're going on to Euro CAD. Same thing, guys. Truth be told, I am expecting some more bearishness, at least for the time being. Can we get a slight retracement? Possibly, but just seeing how the price action is moving at this moment, I am a little more bearish than I am bullish. Once we do clear these lows, I could see the potential for solid retracement, though, just because we do have a lot of liquidity resting on top right here, even right here. Redraw that. right here. So, I can't see the potential for us to push back up, right? And then once we do that, does the market want to respect supply? There's a chance that it does. That we have an unmitigated area of supply up here. So, I'm open-minded to that. I'm open-minded to seeing this happen. But what I just want to see happen first is us come clear these lows, because then it would make a little more sense for me. We come down, we clear this out. Then we come target this liquidity here. Then we come target this right here. Then once that happens, we'd be filling in this voided space right here. Like, y'all see how, like, you have this void that you got to fill in, and then the market can potentially continue. That's one thing I see right there. All right. So that's just on this 4-hour chart. Overall, I see this market dropping still lower, because one or two things is going to happen. Like, if it's bearish, it's going to obviously keep dropping. But even if you're looking at this as it's bullish, right? Let's say it's bearish and you're looking at this as a high, this is a new low, this is a lower high, and you want the market to make a lower low, right? So I mean the market gonna drop. But even if you're looking at this is the low, this is a high, and you want the market to go bullish, right? Either way, in order for you to buy, the best thing to do would be to wait for the market to drop lower. So this is the daily time frame. If I'm just looking at, intraday setups, either way, whether it's bullish or bearish, I think we're going to drop this week, right? Now, as we go into next week and as we go into, stuff like that, maybe the market goes bullish or maybe it continues bearish. But what I feel like we're going to get, regardless of what the higher time frame does, I think that we're going to drop regardless. It just matters, when are we going to drop? I feel like we clear these lows here. After we clear these lows, we get a push back up. I feel like we have a possibility to get some action right there off of this hezzy. All right, so we have a hezzy here that makes a high and continues lower. So that's pretty much the only place that I'm willing to sell. And all of this price action is right here. I don't sell when there's weak highs above me. So I want to take out all the weak highs first. Then once we pop into that area imbalance, I can see myself entertaining a sell. The only place I can see myself entertaining a potential buy is underneath this low right here. All right. So I want y'all to pay attention to the low at 4283, 1.4283. Again, this is Euro CAD. Pay attention to the low at 1.4283, where we could potentially get some longs down there. And then if we get some shorts, I want y'all to pay attention. And it's essentially whichever one comes first. That's the one you're going to execute on. The potential shorts, I feel like you can get that at 1.474. All right. 1.474. That's what I would be paying attention to if I was you. 1.474. All right. Euro CAD. 1.474. All right. Like I said, I'm moving a little faster, guys, because I got this crazy migraine. So, just bear with me. Euro JPY, super bullish to say the least. Hesitate off a supply. All right, this is a high that makes a new low. So when we hesitate off of it, then cross over. All right, and we use this as internal range liquidity. This is the low of the range. This is the high of the range. This is a retracement of the range. And the market should come down, clear out this low, and continue higher. All right. Now I'll clean it up for y'all. So I can see it's just clearing this out here and then returning to the upside. That's if you want Euro JPY. I personally don't trade it often, but I just like to give y'all some options. You know what I mean? So we did clear lows right here. Not only so we made a strong low, as we made a low, then we took it out. All right. So we do make a strong low. After that, we hesitate, cross. Okay. Now the highs are looking weaker because we got highs here. And even though this high did slightly sweep, I do recognize that this high did get swept a little bit. I do understand that. But overall, the price momentum is very slow. It's choppy. It's very corrective. And this could just be a sweep that caused the market to come down into the next buy opportunity. So sometimes highs can sweep too, but it'll sweep just enough for the market to make a higher low and then continue up. So whenever both sides of the market is sweeping, I just compare sides. So I see this and then I see this right here. So the high swept liquidity by about 26 pips, and then the low swept liquidity by 200 pips. So just understanding that the low obviously took more liquidity than the high did. So that would help me not get confused if the lows and the highs both swept. All right, so I'll be looking for Euro JPY buys at around 1.1, 155.15. All right, 155.15 is where I will look for Euro JPY buys. I can go a little lower, see if I see any opportunity to get down to that point. And truth be told, you'll probably get a sell somewhere up here, right? You probably get a sell up here that'll come and clear these weak lows that's forming. Maybe 159, like 159 solid. I want to give you guys like a solid number to go off of. But real truth be told, it can happen anywhere up there. All right. It can happen anywhere above this line, which is at 158.74. 158.74. I probably set an alert right there. 158.74. And then as the market is up here in this area, as it's starting to, slow down and as it's starting to reject a little bit, as it's starting to slow down, then look for a sell pattern, within this price range, right? Because I can't tell you specifically where it's going to happen. It could happen right there. It could happen up here. But ultimately, you want to just see if you get that sell pattern right here that could take you down lower. If not, just wait for the buy. It don't really matter, right? Ooh. Euro AUD. Um, interesting price action. I don't see much here. Obviously, I see this sell to buy candle, but I don't see enough. I don't really trust sell to buy candles if I got weak lows right below it. So for me, I would say this is probably just a trap. All right. It's probably just a trap because I know a lot of people are looking at that sell to buy candle. But whenever I take a sell to buy candle, I look for a strong low. I want that sell to buy to be attached to a strong low. Considering that we got all of these weak lows right here, I think that this is more so of a trap and will probably just continue bearish. So with that being said, I'm gonna look for a slight retracement. Oh, my head is pounding. Oh my goodness. If anything, I'll probably just look for a slight retracement of some sort and then continuation. All right. Because we do have relative equal lows right here. Then obviously we got more liquidity over to the left right here. So just with that being said, so we got a strong hezzy off demand. And then we got also like a weak one as well right here. And the only reason I say weak is because it reacted, made a high, and we never cleared it. So what I'm looking at is 1.6605 for the continuation on Euro odd. Euro odd, I'm looking at 1.6605. 1.6605 for the sell continuations. All right. I believe that we're going to pop up here. And from this point, I believe we'll continue back down. All right. Then I would say you could sell down to at least 1.644. 1.644. All right. So you see here, one side of the market is taking liquidity, while the other side of the market is creating it. All right. So pretty simple to understand. We made a high, then we took the high. So we're taking it on this end, and on this end, we're creating it. So that just tells you what direction the market wants to go. One side of the market is taking, one side of the market is creating. So we're creating up here. We took it already. So whenever that happens, typically we go down further to seek the liquidity that has been created down here. All right. Hope that makes sense to you guys. So yeah, that's Euro AUD. I'm looking at 1.66. All right. 6604, 6605. Ultimately, just set your alert. 1.66, like 04, and then adjust from there. Take market executions, or if you want to be patient, get lower risk entry, execute it how you please. At the end of the day, I'm just giving you areas of interest. But yeah, that's one thing I'll be looking at. Let's go on to some GBPs and then Nas. I look at gold, and then let me go get out of here. So GU, I was trying to catch some buys. I want to say, was it last week? And they actually started going well for a little bit, and then and then it just reversed on me. I got took out at break even. But essentially I'm not really looking to catch the buys at this point. Similar to Euro USD, if I get a click convincing break of structure to the upside, if I get something that like really proves itself to me and then I end up getting in, that's one thing. But ultimately, similar to Euro USD, I'm anticipating the market to just go a little lower, honestly. This is an area that stands out to me because it clearly takes liquidity. The market left three lows right here, all right? Then it took them out right here, all right? So just understanding that, we do have a low that took liquidity and then made a significant higher high from this low way up to this high up here. So I know that there's demand within this area for sure. And that could just be the reason why market does not want to reverse for us. It could just be the reason we just been free falling on GU for so long. So if anything, try to find some continuations on the sell side, unless you get, like I said, a convincing break to the upside that can negate all of this selling pressure that we got. But for me personally, I would probably just be looking for more sell opportunities. Market is dropping pretty hard. If it can come back up to like 1.235, then you could possibly look for another short on opportunity. But right now it's just melting, right? So if anything, I feel like the best opportunity we got is to just wait for 1.2 to get hit. 1.2 get hit, I feel like that'll be the biggest buy opportunity we got right there. And that'll be like a swing trading opportunity. So we could obviously day trade it the way that we do, but that'll be the type of trade that you can hold, I feel like, until it starts getting, because we going in the fall, obviously. If we actually get into this trade, I feel like you could hold it for a few months. Um, this is one of those cycle type of trades, if anything. It might get here towards the end of October, and it may just be bullish until, New Year's, or it might be bullish until a little after that. We don't know. So that's one thing that I do recognize right there. I'm looking at 1.2 on GBP USD. All right. I'm going to GBP CAD. I did take a quick little jab at that on my personal account. But obviously I'm done chasing buys at this point. Similar to GU, I feel like GBP pairs just really want to continue to melt, right? So similar to what I was saying there, I'm just looking for more lows to get cleared out. Once we take out these lows here, I'll be a little more interested in it, but I feel like it's definitely clear what the market has decided it wants to do. I feel like we're still in this downtrend, but even if we do return bullish, there's still a certain point in time where the market needs to retrace a certain amount before we even entertain the buys again. So I do feel like this market has some more dropping to do. I don't really see nothing worthy of marking up on it at the moment. So, I'm gonna be brief with that one. I don't really see nothing to even, try to mark up for this week, truth be told. So GA. All GBP pairs essentially doing the same thing. All right. All GBP pairs. Big melt, right? Big melt. Um, I don't really see an opportunity on it, truth be told. I don't really see much of an opportunity on it. I just see the market really just dripping really hard right now. We're gonna clear this low. After we clear this low, we can see if any demand takes place. But again, same thing I told you on GU. I need to see a convincing breakup before I'll entertain any other direction of the market. It's too low for me to sell, and the selling momentum is too strong for me to buy. So it's just in a weird situation right now, right? It's dropped too much for me to sell, and the sales, they look like they're too powerful for me to take a chance on a buy. I'll take a buy if we get a break of structure convincingly on like the 1 hour or so, like lower time frames like this. You know, if we can come break some structure points and then retrace. And if I also have a hezzy crossover off of any area of supply, either this one, or this one, that's where I can probably entertain some buys. But unless I get that, I'm pretty much good on GBP pairs for the week. So essentially, it's really just looking like, you know, AU and AJ at the moment. Gold, I'll tell you, I don't trade gold often, but you know, I will take a look at it. But similar to GA or similar to GU, similar to EU, I do see this market probably dropping a little bit lower. All right. Just with this overall seller momentum that we have. I do notice how the market came up here. And this is so crazy because I still have it marked up over here. The market, I had this sell marked up when it was over here, right? But it just barely missed the entry. But it looks like it came back. And I marked that was back in September 3rd. And it looks like the entry got hit September 20th. So that's kind of crazy. Did it get hit? No, I just missed again. But yeah, I was thinking that this price point right here, 1948, I was thinking 1948 was going to get hit way back on the 3rd. But it missed, and then it just came right back close to it last week. So, you know, considering that it pretty much just came back to 1948, right? And just missed that entry by a wick, right? Just a pip. Now that's a mitigation, in my opinion. That's a mitigation of this high right here. So now I feel like the market is just going to continue back down because now it's respecting supply still, right? So best case scenario of this is the market comes back up, respects supply, and you can get an entry somewhere up there. But ultimately, I do see this low being taken out, this low being taken out, potentially this one down here. We have a chance to respect right there. All right. So at least 1900 even, right? We're going to sell down to at least 1900 in my opinion. So I would be looking for some retracements and to see some shorting opportunities anywhere I can get in, right? You know, like I said, gold is a little funny sometimes. You know, you could wait on a point of interest, it might not get hit until later. You know, this market could drop and then come back to that point of interest. So you just gotta be a little more patient when it comes to gold. So that's why I say anywhere within this buy to sell candle, you need to be looking for some type of shorts, right? Whether it's right here or whether it's up here in that buy to sell candle up there. That's obviously the safest one, but it doesn't always play out like that. You know, you gotta just be aware of that too. So that's that. I would say let it get up to like 1942, and let it drop from there. All right. That'll be the safest entry you could take. Let it get up to 1942 and then drop, respecting the supply chain. Because obviously you see supply got hit there, and it also got tapped right there. So I could see that. I could see that continuing. All right. So I'm looking for more bearishness on that. Nas 100. Um, Pull up on a different chart. It's crazy. We caught this. For y'all that's not a part of the trading community, we actually caught this sale on a live trading call, right? And I ain't gonna lie, I thought I was doing some good stuff, you know. Like I'm like, okay, nice trade, right? You know, nice little 1 to 20 on a live trading session. Not a bad day, right? So the market comes back, and I thought about taking this one. I mentioned it, but then I said, you know what? We just dropped real hard. What's the likelihood of us dropping again real hard? So I passed on this one, right? So I took this one, passed on this one, and this trade was way bigger, like way bigger. Like it's crazy. I didn't think it was gonna keep dropping like that. You know, I thought it may have dropped a little bit, but I'll be honest, I wasn't expecting that move right there. So I'm like, you know, I thought I did something with this sale, and then I get a sale that's like 3 times the size of it. And that's the one I didn't take. So I was a little bummed out about that. But ultimately we did come back down into this area. I ain't gonna lie, I feel like we can get some bullishness this week. I'll probably be looking for an ace though. Probably be looking for an ace since we did come back down into this point of interest. The lows don't look strong enough yet. So when I come into a point of interest, but I don't necessarily trust the lows yet, that's when I look for an ace. So I'm in a point of interest, but I still feel like we can go a little lower. So once we clear this low, I'll probably look for some type of reaction, especially if this can wait until tomorrow morning, right? The only thing that might have me hesitant is taking this trade this evening, right? I like to trade Nas during New York session. I'm not saying I would never take it during, you know, London or something like that, but I do my best to trade Nas when I'm supposed to, right? So if I can come down to 14,000, you know, 630, like I'm gonna say 14,630. If we can get down there, especially for New York session, that's the trade that I'll be taking. All right. So hopefully this just wants to consolidate a little bit longer. If this can just play out, if it could just play around and stall out until tomorrow morning, then push down there to clear out these lows, I would love that. And then we just return bullish, all right? Yeah, because of the news event. Yeah, I know that. But me, I don't necessarily care for news. I pay attention to a lot of technicals, right? Because, you know, from a technical perspective, I mentioned this, but the only reason I didn't take it was because I already took a trade and I didn't want to like push my luck, right? But ultimately, you know, I know when news is happening, but I don't care too much about the outcome of news because it just follows technicals, in my opinion. News always follows technicals, in my opinion. I've seen positive news that gives negative results in the market. I've seen negative news and I got positive results in the market. So a lot of times when you sitting there scratching your head, like, okay, why did the market move like this? If the news event came out like that, a lot of times you're sitting there scratching your head when it's like that ain't really up for you to, you know, try to decipher all the time. You know, there's certain instances where obviously it follows through, but I feel like more likely than not, you better off just applying the technicals and just knowing what time news is going to happen. So that way you don't trade a couple minutes before news. You never want to do that. But trust me, I'm not sitting here trying to analyze you know, what Jerome Powell or whatever the dude name is. I'm not here to decipher what he's saying. You know what I'm saying? I don't have no desire to do it because you get that reaction off of what he said, and then what happens? At the end of the day, the market erased all the move that news created. Right? How many times you seen news make a move, but by the end of the day, the market erased that move? That's because the technicals came back into play. So that's just one thing that I feel, that's just one thing that I live and die by. Everybody doesn't agree, but that's a beautiful thing about trading. Nobody cares if everybody agrees on that. It's just a preference. So now that we're back down in the extreme of this low, that's very good, right? I was looking at this low to be a potential area that slows it down. But now that we're in the extreme of the low, that's a very good sign, right? This is the safest place to buy, if anything, right? It's either now it's in a do or die area now. It's like it either is gonna bounce or break. So we either gonna bounce here, we bounce right at the low, or we can just continue to break, right? So those are the two options. I'll mark up the first one right here. So first option is we bounce right there. Second option is we go barely take that low out, but immediately respect and bounce back up, or we just continue to melt. And in that case, that's a loss, right? That's just a losing day. But the way that I trade, I take one opportunity here, take the next opportunity there. That way, if I'm on a funded account or a large account risking 0.5% per trade, now that means I'm risked 1% on taking both of these trades with the potential to gain way more than that, right? So don't be afraid to take multiple jabs with the market at the end of the day. As long as your risk management is in play, you can have multiple execution methods to see which one works. You know what I mean? You never want to just be one and done all the time. But let's see what other pairs we got. I think I can go ahead and hang it up there. I do appreciate y'all for hopping on. Typically I'll be on for about hour and a half, maybe pushing 2 hours, but I do have a crazy migraine right now, so I do appreciate y'all that did hop on. We were definitely deep on the call today. I will be uploading this on YouTube within the next 20, 30 minutes. So for y'all that want to go back, review some of this stuff, look at some of the price points that we marked up, look at some of the analysis that we discussed. You will have that ability to do so. If you do watch the video, I just ask you please like, comment, subscribe, just to help your boy out. I do want to start growing my YouTube presence as well. For everybody that is calling in from the free group chat, realize that, I do have a course. I also have a Telegram, or not Telegram, but a Discord group where we do go live 6 times a week, right? So we go live Monday evening for pre-London. We go live Tuesday morning for New York. We go live Tuesday afternoon for Technical Tuesday. We go live Wednesday morning for New York, Thursday morning for New York, Thursday evening for pre-London, and then obviously this call that we're doing today. So there's no shortage of calls. We have 5 live trading calls a week with an educational call for Tuesday evening, Technical Tuesday. So, those are the two options of if anybody that wants to learn from me more on a hands-on basis, and more, understanding the terminology. What is a hezi? What is a crossover? What is, liquidity? What is all of these concepts, right? I have a full A to Z course. And I do have a promo going on right now. And I'm just letting y'all know this because, like I said, eventually I'm going to come to my senses, right? It's been getting great results, all right? Very duplicatable. It's not just something that I understand. This is something that a lot of people are coming in and they're like, yo, like I can actually do this, and that's one thing that I take pride in. I literally created my own terminology and created my own concept to make it easier to dissect. I've taken all of the trading courses out there that sound like, you're learning rocket science. And I didn't want to do that. I wanted to take a slightly different approach. And I feel like that is what you get in Trade Genius Academy. You're getting something where I'm not trying to sound like the smartest guy in the world. I'm just trying to sound like a guy that can make it make sense to anybody, right? Without cutting any corners. So it's extremely simplified, but at the same time, it doesn't cut any corners, which is the most important part. You can simplify things without cutting corners, and that's what Trade Genius Academy is helping you to do. All right. So that's the option there. The course is typically $750, but this TG 300 does give it to you for $300 off. All right. 300 off. And so that'll get you in at 350. And for the next couple people that get started, what I will do if you want to be added to the community, I'll give you a month off of the community as well. Why not? All right. I just want the community to grow. Want to help you guys win, get to the next level. Again, the community has 6 live trading calls a week. That is $60 per month. I'm doing a free 7-day promo. Okay. But that will be over. It's supposed to be over Friday. So I'll give y'all about another 4 or 5. I'll give y'all another 5 hours to grab that. All right. But at midnight Central Standard Time, that promo is going to be over. All right. So with that being said, love you guys. I definitely appreciate y'all for tuning in. Much love. I see you guys at the top or from the top because the bottom is way too crowded. Never look down on anybody unless it's to help y'all up. All right. Feel free to reach out to me at Wallstreet_Ray if you have any comments, questions, or concerns. All right. Peace.